Today, on Be Something Wonderful, stop swinging between desiring it and doubting it. I am your host, Tom Kearin, and this is the Be Something Wonderful studio of higher consciousness, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Creators, welcome back and good morning. I want to talk about a powerful session I had yesterday. Second session with this client out of 3 that we have scheduled together. Our first session, she was referring to a video, or 1 or 2 videos, that I talked about this idea that you swing between positive attachment of really wanting something and desiring it, and negative attachment of doubting it or doubt that you can have it, and almost trying to give up the desire, but not really, and swinging between both of those that like a pendulum. So we talked about that, and she goes, Tom, I'm definitely swinging between desiring it and doubting it. This was the first session. She said she was really feeling bad about desiring it. So we worked through we worked through some of that, right? And the idea that, remember, on a higher level, it's all yours. So it was really bringing her back to her I am awareness, asking her a few questions like, what bad things happen? Have her ask us if my desire is fulfilled. In other words, what unwanted things can happen or are happening or happen if I don't manifest my desire, right? This will identify any counter beliefs or counter assumptions that she might be holding, and what good things happen if my desire remains unfulfilled or not manifested. In other words, identifying these things that she might be holding, that she's just not consciously thinking about. So we talked about that, but really what was the key? The key was the awareness that it's okay to desire. This was good. This revealed some things, but really the key here was that she was just feeling bad about desiring. And remember that desire that she wants equals immediate fulfillment. It was really moving to the idea that it's already fulfilled, it's already hers. And so in our second session, she goes, I'm in Barbados. She wasn't ready to have me do a video on. She does want me to do a video on her success story, but she's so confident about it. She goes, before I would have been hesitant to even talk about that or even predict that I'm gonna share a story with you. She goes, but now I feel so in my in fulfillment, in that I amness, knowing that it's done, that I'm in Barbados, that I have no doubt that it's being fulfilled. And she says, conditions are, and she shared some of the things that were changing. She goes, things are just moving all over the place. So stay tuned, probably a big story there. And so I want to hit this idea that we talked about in our sessions. Remember, your desires are a metaphysical door into parallel alternative versions of yourself already experiencing those desired realities. This was important to lay this groundwork, as I've talked about before. She was actually referring to a video where I talked about it. That here you are in your current reality, this current version of yourself. Remember, that real you is untouched. That purple, that violet you, I am, the real you, is untouched. But you have this current reality or this current version of yourself. But remember, your desired reality, your new reality, that desire to see another part of all that you are, another part of that another 0.00001% of all that you are, that's the door. That provides a door to those other realities, all these other versions of yourself, already experiencing those realities. That's why you have the desire. You couldn't desire it or imagine it if there wasn't a version of you already experiencing it, right? This is the spillover of realities, right? These are the realities that are merging. And then you have your new desired reality. So that your desires are a door to everything you want. They're a door to all realities in all time. Pretty powerful. That's why you desire it. That's why you have that spillover, right? That bleed through of other realities in the form of desire. You see this? So we covered that. That was the first thing. And then I really want to say, remember, the 3D focused personality, this guy, This 3D focused personality, right? Not the real you, but the 3D focused personality feels separate from those other versions and realities, and you feel that as desire. That's really what's going on, right? That 3D focused you, that's focused in this time and place, in this time and space, feels separate from those other versions of realities, and you feel that as desire. That's not supposed to be a bad thing, that you feel it as desire. You want to close that gap. You want to close that and know that you're not separate from it. That's the real key, that it is a door. In other words, it's a door to all realities, to all versions of yourself, where you can experience another new desired reality anytime. But remember, the paradox is that you can't desire, want, or long for anything that's not already yours and already who you are. So there never is any separation. Do you see it? You wouldn't even be able to, the definition of desire means there's no separation. But for us, it feels like separation, right? You wouldn't even be able to imagine, assume, or think about it unless it was already a reality, that an alternative view, that a version of you, an identity of you was already experiencing in an alternative parallel reality, right? Therefore, your desires are a metaphysical door into the more than 99.9% of all that you are, into that 99.9% that currently is unseen and not perceived by you. It's a door to all of that, and then you get to decide what you're going to focus in on in this 3D experience, this horizontal linear experience. Very powerful, right? All that you are, and you're currently not focused in on the current 3D manifested experience, that 0.0001%. So therefore, your desires are a metaphysical door into the more than 99.9% of all that you are, currently not focused on in your current 3D manifested experience, or in other words, that 0.0001%. All of it. You're focused here, but there's that 99.9% that you're not focused on, and you get to choose from that. Very powerful. So all desire, or all desires, comes from that divine urge of consciousness to know itself as consciousness, right? Awareness, to be aware of itself as awareness. All that is to know itself as all that is. That's where all desire, but we translate it into this feeling of separation, a feeling of lack, a feeling that we need something to be whole or complete, to experience that unity from which we come and of which we are made. But that's what that comes from. It's a creative urge to demonstrate life in more life. After all, that's what consciousness is. It's just life. That's what God is. It's life. It's existence. And it has an urge to continue to exist. It always will, but what's that urge? To create, right? For consciousness and awareness to be conscious and aware, or in other words, to be consciousness and awareness, that is the beingness or the livingness of life, that isness or absolute changeless reality, to be that, it must be conscious and aware of something. That's where the divine urge comes. That's what life is. So the consciousness must be conscious of something, so it always must be changing and focusing into something else or something to be aware of it. That's the same with awareness. It's constantly manifesting change to be consciously alive and aware. That's big. One more time. For consciousness and awareness to be conscious and aware, or to be consciousness and awareness, that is the beingness and livingness of life, that isness, that absoluteness, that changeless reality, it must be conscious and aware of something. Therefore, it's constantly manifesting change to be constantly alive and aware. That's where that divine urge comes. That's where that divine urge for change and for us always desiring something new and different and more. Do you see it? But the paradox is we are already that. But we do have that urge to keep moving, to keep changing, to make life and more life. That's powerful today. So the Father, the absolute isness that we've talked about, the source, the law or the Lord of Scripture, that changeless reality, from that beingness is born. The Son, the awareness, I am, your I am awareness, consciousness. It's alive, right? The divine mind, within which you are you are a divine center, right? And from which you are, and with which you are one. So you're one with this divine mind. You are a center of it. So if there's an urge of that consciousness and awareness to be aware of something or conscious of something, to constantly change into something, because that's what it does. That's what consciousness does. Consciousness is conscious of something. Awareness is aware of something. Other than this pure awareness of the Father that there's nothing outside of the absolute. It's only in this first manifestation that you have that. This beingness, this awareness in this one life manifests or changes. Change in the changeless. In order to live, to be conscious and aware of something. But it's never changed or never defined by anything that it's aware or conscious of. That's the difference, right? Because we become aware, we're conscious and aware of it, but then we identify with it. And now it becomes, the divine urge turns into desire, an attachment to have it. A desire that I need to be this or I need to have this. Do you see it? We identify with it. But that beingness awareness doesn't. But it always has the urge to change into something, to be conscious of something, to be aware of something, right? That's it. So again, the beingness, awareness in one life manifests changes in order to live, to be conscious and aware of something as a necessity of its nature. That's its nature, as all infinite power and all potential, not as a desire to be complete or a desire to be whole or because it feels lack or something. That's not it. It's just because that's what it does. That's its nature. That's the nature of reality, right? I am not is impossible. So we're the ones that create the lack or the feeling that I am not. It's just I am, deciding what I am is going to be aware of. But never identifying it, never being changed. The changeless is never changed by any of it. Never identifying with it. Never getting attached to it like we do. That's powerful today. The real you, the I am awareness, your higher self, that is one with the Father, that's one with that absolute reality, the law, the isness, desires nothing. It's already complete, whole in all things. So the real you desires nothing. That creative urge is as part of your nature, right? To be conscious of something or be aware of something. But it doesn't desire anything, right? That's the true meaning and power of it is done, or I'm in Barbados, right? It's done. Your conscious and your awareness is already in Barbados, waiting for you. Waiting for you. Where are you? Because your consciousness and awareness is in Barbados, but where are you? That's the question. Your true home is the spiritual plane. That is infinitely above the physical plane. That's your true plane. That's what it means by degree of positivity. Infinitely above in degree of positivity to the physical plane, right? Nothing can be added or taken away from the real you, the I am. On the physical plane, this divine urge or desire to be conscious or aware as life is translated into a feeling of lack or separation or incompleteness. Incompleteness. Do you see it? It's translated into that. But your true home's that spiritual plane that in degree of positivity is infinitely above the physical plane. So you have to remember, the more aware you are of your I amness, the higher in frequency and vibration you are, the more positive you are in degree of positivity to those planes of reality that are less positive. So you have total dominion over conditions in manifested reality. We just don't feel that because we feel a desire. We feel that lack. Very powerful today. This desire to be complete and whole can never be satisfied on the physical plane. That's why Buddha and the other spiritual greats called desire the root of all suffering. That's what attachment really means. That's the definition of attachment. You suffer when you believe you lack something or you're separate from something, and that you can never get it satisfied on a physical plane, no matter how much you desire or manifest, right? Desire can only be truly satisfied by becoming more aware. In other words, more conscious of your true nature. And hear this, consciousness and awareness, that is its true nature, to be more aware, to be more conscious. So it's you just following that divine urge to be more aware of who you really are. Your true nature is I am awareness, where you desire nothing out of need and attachment, but just to choose to know yourself experientially as source. That's it. It's choosing. You're not desiring your desire, as we talked about in other videos, but choosing your desire. You choose your desires versus desiring your desires right now. That's why it feels like lack or need, or it doesn't feel good, right? This is the meaning of rising in vibration, choosing your desires versus desiring your desires. You see, it's about choosing them, not desiring them. That's what it means to rise in vibration, rise in frequency, rise in the degree of positivity, where you have directive power over the physical manifested world, where you have directive power, willpower, right? All power over that manifested reality. You have dominion over heaven and earth when you know yourself as that I amness. That's powerful. Let's continue. Remember, the real you, I am, desires nothing. That changeless desire for nothing. It desires nothing. But being more aware of your true nature, you can turn your personal desires, right? Those desires, those 3D desires, of the 3D personality into a choice. So it's not the desires, it's not whether something is an ego desire or a higher level desire. It depends on the state that it's coming from. If it doesn't feel like a choice, if you don't feel like you have free will to not desire it, hear this. If you feel like you don't have free will to choose not to desire it, then that desire becomes an attachment. Then that's what you might call a lower level desire. But remember, it's not the desire, the specific desire, what you desire that determines whether it's a low level or high level desire. It doesn't matter whether it's money, or an SP, or a great job, or anything else, a house, doesn't matter, right? Whether it's money or not doesn't matter. What matters is where's it coming from? Is it coming from a feeling of separation, a lack, or is it coming from that unity of who you are, right? Is it coming from a choice, or is it coming from desiring the desire, right? Remember that none of it defines you, right? But you believe it does. So where is it coming from? Right? Are you being more aware of your true nature? Right? You're turning your personal desires into a choice where they don't define or complete you, but rather they are a choice to experience a part of all that you are. That's what makes the difference. So if you want a lot of money and be rich, there's nothing wrong with that. People that judge that as an ego desire versus God's desire, that's just a judgment. That's just a 3D judgment. Nothing's wrong with any of your desires, ever. The question is, from what state of being, from where are you desiring it? That determines whether, quote, it's a low level or a high level desire. Whether it's coming from lack or love. Whether it's coming from already feeling complete or feeling incomplete. Remember, you are detached from the need for those desires to complete you when you desire it as a choice, to experience it as all that you are. Do you see it? You rise above labeling your desires as good or bad, and its opposite is bad, right? We desire that desire is good and the opposite is bad. That's what creates the swinging back and forth from really wanting it to doubting it. Do you see it? Labeling one as good and the other as bad. You create duality, you create the relativity, you create the separation now. Whereas you just see them both as good and very good. And that you can choose one over the other. That's what free will is. Because when you say that you really need something, that you have to have it, that implies you don't have the free will to choose not to have it. Do you see it? And that's what creates attachment. And you're swinging back and forth. I really want it, but I doubt it. I really want it, but I doubt it. We've talked about that, right? You swing back and forth from what you believe is positive and negative, good and bad. But it's not about that. It's that they're both good and very good. You get to choose, and then you stop swinging. We're going to show this in a few minutes. So, non-attachment is an aspect of your true nature as I am. You don't need anything to be complete or who you really are. That's true free will or freedom of choice, right? If you have to have something, attachment, this implies you don't have the freedom or the free will to choose its opposite or something else. That's what that's implying, right? To truly have free will, your true nature, which is freedom, which is free will, it must include the freedom to choose not to have your desire, or else it's not free will. With no free will, you're moved between cravings and resistances by your subjective tendencies, and you're swinging between attachment and doubt. So that's what it means to be driven by those subconscious programs, right? Because when you have a strong desire, that's what you're driven by. You're no longer making a conscious choice. You're giving up your free will, even though you think you're free, right? You're giving it out, and now you have no free will, and you're moved between those cravings and those resistances by your subjective tendencies. You're swinging between attachment and doubt. Wow, that's powerful. Do you see it? This is what I've presented before. Here's your horizontal experience. This is your I am. This is your changeless reality. All of it's changeless, right? But when you're swinging with that pendulum, remember, some of you ask, how do I stop the pendulum? It's not about stopping the pendulum. Change in the changeless reality is how we manifest. It's how we experience life. It's how consciousness becomes conscious of something. It's how awareness becomes awareness of something. By movement, by change. So you don't want to stop the movement. You want to stop the big swings. You want movement, but within the vertical of that I am, of that changeless reality, right? That awareness center. The horizontal linear experience of change in the changeless, but not swinging between I desire it, I want it, and you judge that as good. And then on the other side, I doubt it, I fear I can't have it, and you judge that as bad. That creates the swing. That creates you not manifesting what you want, or manifesting or moving to lifelines, or having an induced transition, as we talked about in reality transurfing, where you move to lifelines or film roles that are even worse than that, right? They're even more unwanted, right? Remember, there's still movement and change, but from the awareness center, from the awareness that nothing defines you, that you're not defined by that's not who you are, that you're not attached to it. You don't need it to be complete. You already know you are complete, right? You don't judge it one as good and the other as bad. Nothing as more important or less important. It's all equal. It's all unity. You make it a choice. You're grateful. You take it for granted that it's done, that you're in Barbados. That's the key. Make it a choice. Be grateful. Take it for granted that I'm in Barbados. It's done. That's how you stop swinging between desiring it and doubting it. I am your host, Tom Kearin, and this is the Be Something Wonderful studio of higher consciousness, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Creators, thank you. Thank you for joining us on our Facebook group. That's facebook.com/groups/Be Something Wonderful. That's the Be Something Wonderful ambassadors. Thank you for liking and sharing and commenting on the videos. Thank you for joining us on Instagram and Twitter @Tom Kearin, and our membership channel, which we had a video about a week and a half ago. We're going to have a video this weekend, a new one on the membership channel. It's going to be powerful. We also have a live stream planned for September 24th, 2023 at 9 a.m. in the morning, Pacific Coast Standard Time, live right here. Our next live event on the exclusively broadcast on the membership channel with me, where I answer your questions. Your questions are coming, where you're sending your questions to info@besomethingwonderful.com. Creators, with great love, with great light and infinite gratitude, this is Tom with Be Something Wonderful here in the studios in Las Vegas. We'll see you soon.